Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Global Gunslinger League with myself and Chris from Warcradle. And today, it's time to add something bigger, shall we say, something legendary. Chris, what have we got today?
Well, so for week 6, instead of adding something new, what we're doing is we're swapping the bosses over. And this was an easy no-brainer, really, because both the bosses, commanders, in the 2-player starter set have got legendary versions. So we have Legendary Nikolai Tesla in his big robot suit. And this is, it's definitely an upgrade from the Tesla that you get in the 2-player starter set. And he does play subtly differently to the other version. This one he's just as tough, if not tougher, ridiculously so. But he's got Electro Cannons, which are just ludicrous, really.
I think the word you're looking for right there is filth.
Yeah, they're just they do bonkers damage. They've got loads of qualities there that are going to certainly cause some problems for your opponents. He's inspirational, so he's going to be giving buffs to anybody around him. They are just really good, really good all-round unit.
Well, let's dig into him a little bit. So his fortune, I instantly see, I think he's got one more than the regular Tesla.
Yep, because he's legendary.
Yep. Limit of 4, grit is 8, which is ridiculous. And I think you can increase that to a 9.
You can, yeah. You can indeed. Well, I mean, it doesn't, because you're failing on a 1 anyway, with a 9 grit, because it's a critical fail. So a 1 is always a failure. But it means that, unlike the other version of Tesla, this guy does take negative modifiers to grit from the piercing of the weapon. So if you look at his Electro Cannons, they're a -3 pierce. So they're going to, if he was being shot by those or something with a similar piercing attribute, his grit would come down to 5, and suddenly you're on a 50-50 chance of failing. So things become a little bit squeakier, are those odds for me, certainly with something like this. So 24 points is a lot for one unit. Even if he is a boss. So, there has to be ways to make sure that he's not going to die to the first shot. And he's certainly got many of those things there. He's hardy as well. So he's re-rolling those grit checks. But you know what dice are like, Justin.
Hang on. Have you never seen me roll dice on camera?
No, that's why I said, you know what dice are like. So, you could just keep rolling those 1s all day long, and things will just start being removed from the table. So what you've got here is a change in the way the force works, because the commander, what we're doing, we've only got 1 detachment here. So actually we've usually you'd have more than 1 detachment in a force. You'd have a couple of bosses at least, for most larger games. So this is just switching out one for the other and changes the dynamic that way, rather than adding another unit. And it does surprisingly change the way the force works, because that, like I said, the commander is a pivotal unit within that force or detachment, and as a result, you'll have a bit more fun with this version of Tesla.
Well, it's a nice way to close out our guide for getting into Wild West Access, because there is a lot more to explore even after we finish up this video series, and actually being able to show people, look, if you change out this one miniature, your force plays differently, your games feel different, and it. All right, we were talking painting last time. By this stage, I hope our beginners have been enjoying painting, getting more into it, and now you've got something big to play with to actually get into that spirit of getting him down on the table and looking good. Couple of things I'm noticing. So War Machine. Now, for it's allowing him to fire all of his weapons and fire at different targets. There is one part of it that I'm a little confused on, and I think our beginners would appreciate hearing about it, which is it allows him to ignore a special quality or the special quality for one of his ranged weapons. What is the special quality?
So a special action can only be taken once per activation. So if a weapon has the special quality, you can only usually fire that once per activation.
Okay.
Now, Tesla has got a limit of 4, which means that he could potentially fire 4 times in his activation. It's going to cost you a lot of action points, though, because remember, there's an increasing cost on action points. So the first combat action or the first special action, because it's a special, would cost you 1 action point. It then costs you 2 for the second, 2 for the third, 2 for the fourth. So you've got 7 action points. Now, bearing in mind the biggest card you can get is a 5, you're going to have to be paying guts cards or action point or fortune points to be able to get to that level. And that's going to, that's quite a heavy price to pay in order for him to do all those things. Plus, being in a position where you can fire at 4 different targets and obliterate them all at the same time is quite difficult. So in practice, it's unlikely that you're going to get 4 shots off with Tesla. But, by having a bit of movement in between, you might get 2 or 3 on average if you're using War Machine in order to do so. So really, normally he would only be able to fire once, but that ability kind of gives you a way around that. Again, it's going to cost you to do it because it's not for free, but it certainly gives him that ability.
Mm-hmm. It does seem like if you get him in the right position, he can be a bit of a nuke, a bit of a bomb going off in the middle of the table, just going, "Oh, hello, Mr. Eiffel. I see you brought your mecha out too." Skadoosh. Yeah. So I'm very curious to see how his big attack stacks up against Jerry's side's big attack. And I mean, if something like John Younger or those gun dogs run around the corner, it's just like, "Oh, puppies! Bye, puppies."
Yeah. I mean, there's not a huge amount in any army that can really stand up to that kind of firepower. So, he's definitely going to be the one to watch for Jerry.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Well, especially at this point, because we now have our full forces. We've been exploring them. We've been talking about the different tactics you could use with them, and having a new version of Tesla to bring out against your opponent. Again, we're back to that arms race. Having that new version of something that you've already seen, it's going to be interesting to see just how differently the two of them play between the games that we're going to be playing with them. And the fact that he also now has magnetic attraction, I think, is going to be quite fun. Because with him having that, facing Jerry, a lot of his stuff is going to be, machine or construct. So he's just going to be going, okay, I get a free run. Whee! It's going to be fun. And I'm really curious just to see how much it changes it. Now, on the weapon, he's got his shock, he's got his stun, he's got his refined, and on the critical is brutal. I don't remember if we've mentioned what brutal does for everybody at home.
Brutal will add an additional wound to the number of wounds that you're making in that attack. So it's really something that is it will take out an extra hand or troop if you're attacking a multi-unit multi-model unit. But also it's good to help to override the wounds for metal. So if you can do enough damage in one single attack that overrides the limit of the unit you're attacking, they can't use metal. So it will help you to insta-kill big things.
So it might just, tip you over the edge so the ball goes in the basket. Got it.
Absolutely.
Got it. Well, I mean, So far, we've got some really nice forces. I think the pacing that we've had stuff being added at has been great, and I think having this for the big finish, as it were, is really good. But the one thing everybody should remember out there is this is only the beginning of your journey in Wild West Axis. There are other, commanders, bosses, faces, units, different synergies you can explore to actually build a force that suits your playstyle. And if you've really enjoyed this, and maybe you have another friend you're looking to bring in, don't forget there are other factions out there as well that have like posse boxes that you can just grab and say, look, this is something you like the look of. Here, grab that and just let's start playing some games, because this is one of those games. I love the game system. I think it is clean. It is streamlined. Once you're into it and understand those main mechanics, you can just have tons of fun with it, and the games are super quick to play. Chris, all I can say is thank you very much for joining myself, Jerry, and everybody else on the journey into Wild West Exodus. Everybody out there, get your comments in below. Maybe tell us, where do you think you're going to go from here with the game? Because I'm very curious to see what's the next steps now that you're familiar with everything. So get your comments in. Myself and Chris will move on, and hopefully we'll see you again in the future. Bye-bye. Join the Global Gunslinger League and track your progress in the OnTableTop project system for your chance to win one of 2 Wild West Exodus bundles. See the link in the description for more details.
Go ahead and check out our other content on screen now. And while you're at it, why not hit subscribe and remember to ding our dong. Go on, you know you want to click it. Go on.